again. Well,
Yes, I did.
good, eh? We need some more customers and we need you to come closer to the first class. Come to business class, first class in the front, please. You have been upgraded to first class. Thank you so much. First class available now, complimentary upgrade. Don't be shy, you can come on the reserved seats, they have been reserved for you. Lovely jubbly. My students go at the back.
Gather international leaders in accessible tourism to analyze the progress, the challenge, and opportunities in creating truly inclusive destination and experience. The speakers will address from diverse and complementary perspective how accessibility can be integrated into the design of tourism products, destination management, and technological innovation. Shun-hee will share the experience of the rare and raw community in China, highlighting the impact of young people with disabilities on museum accessibility and the creation of accessibility guides for museums. Dimitrios Buhalis will discuss how digital transformation, artificial intelligence, and universal design can enhance competitiveness and inclusion in the tourism sector, drawing on his academic leadership and international collaborations. José António Bourdain will present the Portuguese model from social and health management to the creation of specialized tour operators and national association emphasizing the importance of cooperation and long-term vision. Finally, but not the last one, Neha Arora will contribute her perspective based on personal and professional experience, showing how Planet Able has succeeded in transforming inclusive tourism into a global movement that connects accessibility, sustainability, and human rights. First one, let me introduce Shun-hee. Shun-hee is founder of Rare and Raw Disability Community. She is a council member of China Disability Research Society and China liaison for the European Network for Accessible Tourism. Shun-hee leads disability community of over 20,000 members and launched the Accessible Museum Experience Project in 2022, which has awarded Sihus Beacon Prize. To date, Shun-hee and her team have created access guide for more than 30 museums across China, impacted hundreds of thousands of visitors with access needs. Shun-hee holds a master's degree in education from the University of California, Los Angeles, and a master in international development from Sciences Po Paris. She is a rare disease patient and wheelchair user. Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. And please play my points. Okay, and this is a picture of our team in China. And I'm really happy to have the opportunity to present at this summit. It's of significant importance to me because I have not been back to Europe since 2019. I used to study here for around 4 years. And I'm so happy to have the opportunity to come back and revisit familiar places and meet with some of the greatest thinkers and leaders that inspired my journey and shaped my professional path. So next slide. So I wanted to say a few words about me. My name is Shun. I come from China, and I'm the founder of a disability community called Around the Road because I live with a rare disease called muscular dystrophy. It's tough, so please forgive me. It affects my breathing system. So please forgive me if you find me drinking water. I had breaks during the presentation. And I used to study in France and in the United States. How the experience transformed my life experience that inspired me to choose a career in my current job. Next. My own interest in settler tourism originates from my experience traveling to the desert in Morocco with a friend in travel agency like 10 years ago. It completely changed my mind and reconstructed my imagination of traveling with a wheelchair around the world. That with sufficient support, wheelchair travelers can travel to anywhere we want. So this experience really changed me and inspired me to do something that promotes sustainability and sustainable tourism in China. Next. So to realize this dream, I reached out to a lot of people and I got connected to INAT. And in 2018, that is also the China EU or EU China tourism year. So the picture on the right, yeah, is me with Nadine and Glacia at the opening ceremony of the tourism year. And another teacher is me with the INAT team in Greece. We discussed about directing a project to promote successful tourism in China. Next. And then we co-applied for an award from Booking.com, and we won this award, and then had opportunity to start project. Next. So that is how our story began. My organization was founded in China in June 2018 with support from Booking.com and with also support from INAT. At first, we aimed to only focus on central tourism, but also because of the COVID, we began to develop many other programs to serve the whole disability community in China. First, we developed a disability information database, and we run a disability media. We have community development programs, and we support the employment of PWDs, and that is now a very important program of our organization. We also have 80 consulting services, and we conduct a sustainability audit. Next. So that is a picture of our sustainability database developed in China. And it's WeChat based because WeChat is the most used app in China, and we also shows the interface of our media. I just want water. Thank you. And now we have over 20,000 subscribers. That's actually also our members in our communities. And we're targeting 1 million, over 1 million audience in a year May. we have strong social media friends in areas Chinese speaking social media channels. Next. So that's the portrait of our community. The community has diverse needs. Over 50% of them have a physical disability. 35% have visual disability or hearing loss. And the left are non-disabled. They are family members. They are professionals that provide services to the disabled community. And they are also our founders and sponsors. So this community is very young. Over the 80% of them are under 45 years old, and half of them are between 25 and 35. They are quite educated because the general educational level of PWDs in China is very low. But in my community, many people are well educated. Over 50% of them have a bachelor degree, and most of them live in China's first tier and the second highest cities. Next. We are, no, it's fine. Oh. We are a DPO, and that's the that's the organization that designed by and co-created with the disability communities. So now we have over 200 community co-creators, and we work together to build this community. Next. So after our collaboration within that, we organize 5 major events across China in different cities. And in that project, we took 600 people with disabilities out of their home for tourist experience. Next. So that is a mini conference we hosted with the Booking.com China office, and we bring professionals in the hotel chains and to communicate with the disability community about their experience of traveling with access needs to make mutual understanding. Next. So that's that. It's fine. Thank you very much. I would like to know you need to drink water. Thank you. And that is a night tour in a traditional Chinese street in my home. And this tour consisted of travelers with and without disabilities. I believe that travelers should be inclusive. We need to bring people without disabilities to come together and to understand our needs. Next. And this is also the event we co-organize with the International Chamber of Commerce working in China, because most of the Chinese people with disabilities do not have the experience to travel do not have the experience and opportunities to travel internationally and to experience international culture. So we want to have them have such experience. So we invited expats working in China and come together and to hosting that with us, with the disability community. Next. And that is also our international exchange. That is our collaboration with INET, also with the organization, yes, and yes, led by Tatiana. Yes, it's a trip co-organized by Tatiana. So we bring a group to have studied tour on central tourism in Madrid, and a lot of people in the tour are key decision makers from China, especially working for the think tank. And when these people went back to China, they made a vital role in forming China's first law on the construction on the barrier-free environment. Next. So China's first law on the construction of barrier environment was enacted on September 1, 2023. And that is a significant progress in the history of sustainability development in China. That is also China's response to our changing demographic strategy or social structure. Next. So now in China, we have 25 million people living with the type of disability. We have 220 million families members affected by disabilities. And at the end of last year, we have 310 million seniors aged over 60. So China is entering into an aging society, and the government is aware that we also need to do something to upgrade our infrastructure to cope with the new challenges and the needs of this total nation. Next. So in this context, we developed a project called Museums for All, because that's law first target the public sectors and require that the public sectors to meet with the government's sustainability policies, and most museums are public owned. So we target museums first, and we partnered with a big Chinese tech company called Zhihu. Zhihu is China's version of Quora. That is the Q&A platform that people can answer and raise and answer questions. And we collaborated with this company and launching China's first series of access guides for around 31 museums across 12 cities in China, and reaching 600,000 people with access needs. Next. Also, in this initiative, now that's the example show that the access guide we made for the tennis museum in Beijing. That is the tennis museum is not only a museum, but it's also UNESCO cultural heritage site, and there are a lot of historical buildings in that district, which was not that successful. That in the last 20 years, the government began to invest a lot to make this area accessible. So now we actually users can access most parts of this area, and that picture also showed a volunteer pushing a wheelchair on a ramp to the tennis. Next. We bring our community members to experience public transport. So the picture shows a vlog, the cover picture of a vlog to experience the high-speed trains in China, which are very important modes of public transport. And now the trains are equipped with accessible toilets, specialized seats, and the other facilities to serve wheelchair users and people with other disabilities. And another picture shows the shuttle taxi in Beijing. And now there is a taxi is operated in around 10 cities, 10 major cities across China. Though the number is not very big, but it's growing. Next. And we started media content, like with UNESCO and with some major Chinese media to educate the public of sustainability and to raise public's awareness of disability inclusion. We engaged with the community and we organized tourist adherence with the local community. For the local community, that's our teachers showed our visit to two historic sites where there is a museum in nice city. Also, we began to advise the business. As you know that we have a lot of big tech companies in China, and one of them is called Vivo, that is the cell phone manufacturer. And they wanted to do an advertisement highlighting their sustainability futures. So they come to us and we provided consulting services to them and we advise them to do the advertisement in a scenery of successful travel. So one of the pictures is a blind guy using their cell phone in the highland in Yunnan. And then another is the wheelchair using their cell phone when he hears the successful scuba diving in Hainan. So that is him using the cell phone on the water. Next. And we also realize the needs of women with disabilities because in our collaboration within that, we serve like around 600 people with disabilities. That we found that only 30% of our participants are women with disabilities. We find that women with disabilities in China have fewer opportunities to travel because they have a lower income. They are not concerned about security issues, and they need to deal with okay, and they need to deal with wait, how are you? Okay, it's working. Like they deal with challenges like how to deal with periods when you sit in a wheelchair. So we want to develop a specific program to support women with disabilities to travel. And we want to have they learn from their peer models. So we hosted workshops and we invited experienced women female travelers to teach a community of their experience. Next. So that project had us won an award from the French consulate, and we won the Prix Winner Dasset last year. Our initiative to support women with disabilities is now sponsored by many industries in China, like the Canadian industry, the French industry, the Australian industry, and now we are working with the British industry and the British Council to develop new projects like. So that's in last year, we began to partner with UNESCO in a call for good practice that is aimed to select innovative practices in sustainability and inclusion among museums in China. Next. So we are the DTO partner to UNESCO China now, and in this initiative, 16 museums around China participated in this call, and we worked as the panel experts to select the good practices, and finally 16 cases were selected, and this project engaged 8 experts with disabilities and 4 people with disabilities acted as editors for one bilingual publication, and it's recognized by ICON, that's international. Okay. International Committee on the Museum Connect. So now we are working with the Chinese Museum Association on China's first guideline on accessibility for museums, and we are now working with a major museum in my city on a new Culture for All initiative, and English website is also under construction. Next. So finally, I want to share some facts and trends in China. And first, I want to say that China is still an emerging and potential market for accessible tourism because we have such a huge population, and we are entering into aging society, and it is now become China's national policy. So a lot of funds and resources are invested in this area. That it's been noted that China is still the developing country, although the largest developing country in the world. So like in 2022, the average disposable income for the general population in China is around 5,000 US dollars. That for people with disabilities, it's only 2,000 US dollars. So the purchasing power of the PWDs is not very high. And that's the challenge for the business because it's not attractive. And there's a huge regional tendency because now in some bigger cities like Shanghai, Beijing, the disposable income can be over 12,000 USDs. That in rural regions in China, it's only 1,000 USD. And now the medical devices and rehab and the AT industry in China is taking off because there are no public funds invested in this area, especially with the involvement of the big tech industry. And we have no program for the professional talent development programs, and also like initiative both the international collaboration and inbound travel. Okay, so my presentation is over, and that's my contact. Thank you. That's thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Really interesting, the whole experience that you are sharing with us. If you want, I'm going to let the question for the end of the session in order to we can have the discussion. And in this moment, I'm going to introduce José Antonio Bourdain. José Antonio Bourdain was born in Lisbon in 1971. He holds a degree in Human Resource Management from the University of Lusíada, Lisbon, and a master's degree in Political Science from the Institute of Social Science of the University of Lisbon. He began his professional career at the age of 16 years old in the social health education sector, working with people with disabilities, area where he was always worked until now. In 1998, he founded CERCITOP, a nonprofit cooperative where he currently serves as chairman of the board. In 2013, he created TourismforAll, a tour operator specializing in accessible tourism. He also helped to found ANCC, Portugal National Association for Long-Term Care, in 2017 and has served as its president since then. José Antonio, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and I would like to thank you for the opportunity to being here present our company. Like you said, we created CERCITOP at more or less 26 years ago. It's the organization, non-profit one, that is behind Tourism for All. So who are we? We are a tour operator and travel agency and touristic animation. We have all the 3 licenses from Portuguese Tourism Board. We do mainly accessible tourism, also medical tourism, etc., but mainly accessible tourism for people with any kind of physical or visual impairment, among others. Like you said also, we are part of the major cooperative in Portugal. Like you also said, I started to work with people with disabilities when I was 16 years old, so I work with people with disabilities for 38 years. It's all the work of my life. I was the founder of the non-profit organization for 26 years ago, 1999. And nowadays is one of the biggest in the country. We have long-term care, as you said. I'm the president of the National Association of Long-Term Care. We have hospital facilities. We are connected to the health system, and it means something in this kind of tourism, and I will talk it about later. We have the retirement and daycare centers for handicapped people. We opened our first kindergarten in May of this year. We are the second one coming. We have home support, we have rehabilitation clinics, and we provide lots of therapies and support for the elderly children, special needs. We go to the schools, do this kind of work. Daily, we attend more or less 2,000 people, children, adults, elder people. The idea is to provide, like the slide says, high quality services to our clients, of course, going to meeting their needs, expectations, taking care of their health condition. And they expect it, of course, to be in secure hands. And the idea is to allow our clients to have accessible tours, can be tourists like everyone else. We will go Portugal and Spain with our partners. Usually the transport is ours, but we have some partners in Spain. And also we work Cape Verde in the Salt Island. We have a vehicle there, 9-seat vehicle that takes 4 wheelchairs plus 40 seats and the driver. And of course, we have accommodation and some tours in the highlands, in the island of Cape Verde. Speaking a little bit about Portugal, we won the World Travel Award and the destination for people with disabilities with the project of Portuguese Beach. We have more or less 400 accessible beaches in Portugal. All the beaches have chairs to enter in the water. Everybody can use it for free. The lifeguards and other persons in the beach give assistance if needed. Portugal won the Best World Destination at World Travel Awards in 2017, 18, and 19. Best European Destination also at the World Travel Awards in 17, 18, 19, 20, and 23, as you could imagine. So it's a good country to visit. Also won these awards, Best European Destinations, Best European City Break, Best World City Break at the World, and other awards that I will not mention here because best beaches, etc. So we have specialized transportation. We provide accessible accommodation, visit and tours, technical aids, some activities, and also daily care. Some partners and clients said that we have the most complete service in all world. That's why we have an integrated offer because we have the vehicles, mainly we have the knowledge, but we have the vehicles, we provide all the tours, restaurants, monuments, the accommodation, but also technical aids, hoists, hospital beds in the room if necessary, pool lift, chairs to enter in the water beside the ones that you have in the 400 beaches that I said. We have scooters, we have electrical wheelchairs, we have manual wheelchairs. In our hospital facilities, we have nurses, doctors, pharmaceuticals. We have our own pharmacy. For example, 2 weeks ago, American clients need some medicines. We can provide oxygen. We have a partner in dialysis. We can provide dialysis treatments. So with this connection, it's all of my life, as you could imagine, all this connection to the health sector, to the social sector. We have all the means and all the knowledge and all the equipment, everything that we cover 99% of our clients' needs. So that's why many partners say that we have the most complete service in the world. And some of them are here and also doing some presentations. This is some examples, some pictures. Pictures are always the best. They speak for themselves. We have daily care, as you could see. If some clients need a nurse or a caregiver during all the day, at the room at the hotel, we can provide it. We also have some activities like riding a horse, for example. We do rehabilitation, like we told you. If some people travel and need to do some rehabilitation during the vacations, it's also possible with our physiotherapists, occupational therapists, etc. We have technical heads, some examples like I told you. We have also tours for blind people, special tours, of course, different from the others for people in wheelchairs. That is an example of the chair that enters in the water that I talked you about. We have the long-term care. Sometimes people get hurt in the cruise ships and they must waiting to come back to their countries, and the companies ask us clients stay 1 or 2 nights in our hospital facilities. So everything is integrated with us. This is some of examples of accommodation, accessible pools in some hotels. The best hotel in the country is in Batalha, in the center of the country. They have 90 accessible rooms. Usually they have 8 rooms with fixed bars, but when we have big groups, we put removable bars into the rooms. They are all accessible. 90, it's quite something. And it's a normal hotel, very luxury, 4 stars, but very luxury, and very, very good. And of course, in other parts of the country, Lisbon, Porto, Coimbra, etc., we have a nice offer also of hotels. This is our fleet. Our service is, of course, the main thing, but the fleet is maybe the big star of the company because we have a big fleet, as you will see. This is the biggest bus. Next week, we are going to do a group starting in Barcelona, American group. We did this often. This bus take 10 power wheelchairs plus 19 normal seats. 2 months ago, we buy another bus. It's very similar to the previous one. This takes 47 seats, 9 wheelchairs. This is more 3 vehicles. One with 33 seats takes 6 wheelchairs in the left, the middle bus. The minibus on the right is VIP. It takes 16 seats, 3 wheelchairs, and a van with 9 seats, 4 wheelchairs. These vans, you could also rent it without driver. You don't need our drivers. You could rent it and drive by yourselves. This is a 9 seats electric vehicle. Arrives 2 weeks ago. It's also VIP. Can take 9 seats or 1 wheelchair plus 6 normal seats. This is also a car that is possible to rent, is diesel, 7 seats or 5 seats, 1 wheelchair. Sorry? 2 minutes, I'm almost finished. No problem. This is another VIP, black Mercedes, 8 seats, 5 seats, 3 wheelchairs. As you could see, we have lots of vehicles. This is some of our clients. This is a testimonial. Stephen Hawking has been with us 3 times in Lisbon, making some tours. So we come back after this testimonial. Two more. Okay. Want me to read? Okay. 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 I am writing on behalf of Stephen Hawking and his care team that visited Lisbon a couple of weeks ago. We just want to say how wonderful you all were and thank you for an amazing trip around Lisbon. It was a perfect day and Maria Jesus and Sonia were great. We couldn't ask for anything more and Stephen and his care team enjoyed it immensely and can't wait to return to beautiful Lisbon. Stephen Hawking testimonial granted by Cersitop. So I'm finished. We are exhibiting in the booth 16 at the door of Londra room. I will be here at the end, also at the end of the event, today and tomorrow in the evening. If someone wants to talk to me, I'm at your disposal. I'm in NH Hotel also, so I will be here until dinner, after dinner, during the dinner. If someone wants to speak with me, change some ideas, I'm at your entire disposal. Thank you very much. Grazie. Obrigado.
Thank you, José Antonio. We are going to talk later. We don't have to wait to finish this roundtable. And then now I want to introduce Neha Arora. I pronounce okay your name. Neha. Okay, thank you. Neha is the founder of Planet Able, a globally recognized and awarded travel brand promoting inclusive travel for persons with disabilities and the elderly. Her 41 years of experience of knowing her parents' needs, her father is blind and her mother is a wheelchair user, gives her a unique perspective into the needs of people with disabilities, and she creates a planet more able. Planet Able is the subject of a business case study published by Eve Publishing, and the case is taught in management school worldwide. The work is also sits in Harvard Business Review, recognized by Condé Nast Traveler as one of the pioneers in making travel accessible for all globally. Neha is on the advisory board of Travel Unity USA for promoting diversity and inclusion in the travel industry, and it's part of the steering council of Responsible Tourism Institute, Spain, and also has the Biosphere India delegation. Okay, thank you, Neha. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I would like to stand if that's okay with you guys. It's just more comfortable. Yeah. So, hi, everyone. I'm Neha. I represent Planet Abled. And in this presentation, we are going to talk about how to turn an inclusive tourism business into a movement. I'm So a little bit about Planetabled. Planetabled has been around for almost a decade now, and we promote inclusive and accessible tourism for people with all types of disabilities and the elderly. We are a travel designer and also a consultant and trainer to the industry so that to build their competency and capacity so that they are accessible by design. Overcoming the challenges of inaccessible destinations, bias perceptions, digital inaccessibility, and lack of standardizations and affordability. So with offices in India and Austria, we are trying to change the world in our own way and operate globally. Why we do what we do. So yesterday someone asked me, you don't look disabled. Why do you work in accessible tourism? So this is the reason why I exist. 41 years of accessible tourism, accessibility experience. My parents, so my father is blind, also age-related hearing impairment and Parkinson's. My mother is a wheelchair user and I'm neurodivergent. And that's what led me to leave my corporate career. I have an engineering degree, which I didn't use much, because I wanted to travel myself. I never traveled as a child, and my parents, who are now in their 70s and 80s, never traveled until a few years ago. Because of the unpleasant traveling experiences, led me, because I wanted to travel with my parents and wanted to make travel accessible and inclusive for people like us. Because it's not just about people with disabilities, it's also about their friends and family. And we make up together more than 25% of the population of the world. So Planetable started as a travel design and services company, but because I started in India, which does not seem to be a very accessible country in various aspects, we had to start with destination development, building the ecosystems and the industry that practically did not exist, training like the hotel staff, people in the ecosystem, right from drivers to guides, and sensitizing the whole ecosystem so that it is ready to welcome people with all types of disabilities. And because I have an experience of like multiple disabilities roaming around me, there was no choice that I could have chosen one single disability that we see all over the world, like the travel service providers, where it's only one single disability that comes into focus. We are the only company that does inclusive group trips where we mix people with various disabilities and non-disabled to travel together. So no discrimination, again, non-disabled people. And we use our on-ground travel experience to consult destinations and other tourism stakeholders so that they're accessible by design. And we have certification and a one-stop platform where we solve all the problems when it comes to inaccessibility in tourism. Some of the awards that we have had we have been fortunate to receive both nationally and internationally all over the world. We are a published business case at IB Publishing, taught around the world in various business schools. Let's talk about inclusive design. So when we are talking about accessibility in tourism, you often hear the word universal design. I would like to break that. Universal design is something when you implement accessibility. But when you talk about inclusive design, you are actually, by design, it is about engaging with people that can be completely different from you and stretches your imagination to what is possible. So you make yourself prepared for any type of group that is possible, like group of disability that is possible, but still you are agile and adaptive to the newer accessibility needs that you might encounter in your journey of accessible tourism. So this is more like design thinking being implemented in your travel services and in your implementation of accessibility when we talk about tourism. It is a methodology that draws on the full range of human diversity. including intersectionality as well, because we cannot put people into buckets, and keep on learning from their diverse perspective. So also, if we look at the Sustainable Tourism Development Goals, we hear a lot about sustainable tourism all over the world, and accessibility hits on 7 SDGs. If you did not know until now, 7 of the SDGs are directly impacted by accessibility. So you cannot have any conversation around sustainable tourism without keeping accessibility and inclusion at its core. These are some repeat numbers, 15 to 20% of the world population. I would like to focus more on the 30% more that an average disabled traveler spends than an average non-disabled traveler. And they are also the most loyal and unique repeat customers once they find a place and experience that is suitable to their needs. This data is, I think, more important because here we're talking about destinations. We have over 100,000 museums all over the world. We have over 15 million food establishments and over 700,000 hotels. How many of these do you think are accessible for diverse set of people with disabilities? I doubt even that is true. And there's no data that exists, actually, but we know that is in single digits and under 500%. So this is the data we should be talking about, not how many disabled people, because we all know that we have been talking about it. And when we talk about accessibility, it's not just about built environment. It's also about digital accessibility, content, communication, and information accessibility as well. Because 68% of travel transactions are done online. So if your website is not accessible, if your social media content is not accessible, if your YouTube videos are not accessible, sorry, you are not accessible. And we have so many travel agencies all over the world, over 200,000. How many of them are actually catering to disabled travelers? And I would like to also ask, how many of you have posted social media content about the conference since yesterday? All of them? Like a lot of them? Okay. How many of you posted a picture without alt text? And how many of you posted a video with no captions? All of you. We are not doing it. You're not doing the basics. And it also impacts not just leisure travel or holidays. It also impacts, it covers your sports travel because the sports team, the para sports teams are also traveling. It covers business travel. It covers conference travel, right? So, yeah. And also, this is very important. When we are talking about accessible tourism, everything is a picture of a wheelchair user. Sorry to say my mother is a wheelchair user, but everyone talks about wheelchair accessibility when they are talking about accessibility. Even at the Egyptian Museum yesterday, they were talking that they are accessible. They were only wheelchair accessible. There was nothing that was there for other disabilities. And wheelchair users are only 10 to 12% of the disabled population, mind you. So we are kind of leaving out the 90% of the people who are requiring accessibility when they are traveling. So not all of them are also visible. Challenges faced by a person with disability, I would not go through them. You can read through it later, but because you all work in accessible tourism, you know the challenges. This I would like to focus on. So we did a stakeholder consultations at the United Nations Vienna in 2023, where we brought together people from the industry, like tourism boards, travel companies, hotel chains, and people with lived experiences from developed countries and emerging countries. Mind you, this is very important because any decision or standardization that you see all over the world is very developed country focused. So the biggest finding that came out was, if you see the green dots, these are the tourism stakeholders. And if you see the purple dots, these are the disability advocates or people who are working in accessible tourism. You see there is a huge wide gap between what a destination claims to be accessible and what the expectations of a disabled traveler are, which are not being met. So we have to find a middle ground in between where the disabled travelers and their expectations and the accessibility needs are being met, and the destination does not claim that they are compliant or they are doing everything in accessibility and still not deliver on their promise. Why this gap exists? Let's talk about that. Because of lack of awareness of training, perceptions and stereotypes, no ROI. This is very important because anyone who is working in the industry, at the end of the day, they need their return of investment. It is not always a social impact story that can only go for so long. And the market side is not being realized. Like we already mentioned the numbers in the previous session, and you might know already it's $13 trillion, but how many people in the industry actually believe that? What makes travel accessible and inclusive? It's the built environment. It's accessible communication. Like, think of an example of a deaf person ordering room service. Can they pick up a phone and do that? Or assistive technology integration, how would a blind person independently navigate a resort spread across 10 acres? Is there any indoor navigation app that is integrated there? Trained and sensitized professional, because you can build the building with full compliant laws and everything, but if the people are not trained, it doesn't work. Information in accessible format, like any museum, how many museums have information in accessible formats? Human accessibility, this is very important. This is like the agility of the team at the ground and the tourism professionals to be able to change and deliver with the changes what a disabled traveler might need or with their changing needs. Some of the growth results, 30% more revenue, I already mentioned that. And if you implement the target audience increased by 25% at least, high customer loyalty, low cost of customer acquisition because they are repeat customers, low attrition in workforce. If you hire people with disabilities, they represent themselves and bring about the internal change. Accessibility consulting cost goes down drastically if you hire disabled people in your team. High social currency, like you have a good brand story to say that we are inclusive, and that actually attracts more non-disabled travelers to you also. So the overall whole customer experience gets improved. Why do we need as what do we need as a tourism stakeholder? We need comprehensive accessibility. You cannot choose, okay, we do one disability today and then go forward to do another disability. That would take hundreds of years, and we do not have that kind of time in our lives. Personalized service, expert knowledge, training, collaboration. We cannot do anything without collaboration. So because it's not about Planetable, it's not about Tourism for All, it is not about any of the other companies that are there. Until and unless we collaborate and turn it into a movement, go to our regional decision makers and local governance to make the change so that the destination is accessible by design, we are not going to be able to run a successful accessible tourism business. The business case I already mentioned, so I'll skip through that. We have more and more people with disabilities acquiring disabilities now. How to move forward from here? So one is to do destination mapping, like what destinations work good for which kind of disabilities and how accessible they are for what groups. Recognize that there is a difference between destinations if they are a developed country or an emerging country, and you have to have a policy and a roadmap to move towards it. Design inclusive products and services, and of course, we need to have separate business models for each type of stakeholders. What works for a museum won't work for a tour operator, and what works for a tour operator won't work for a hotel. They need to have their own business models around accessible tourism. Assistive technology integration, we live in a world of technology, we cannot skip that. Digital media, we talked about, you cannot put any content online, okay? So anyone who posts any picture or video today, make sure it's accessible. Okay, that's a promise you're going to make me. Marketing and sales, like you can make your destination accessible, but until and unless you market it well, you have to tell the world. That is 50% of the job. You have to market yourself and tell the world that you are accessible and what accessibility you offer, whether you are a hotel, what are the accessibility features. Put it on your website. How many hotels have you seen? Out of course, US has more hotels who have accessibility information published because of ADA, but how many other hotels do you see who have a dedicated page on accessibility and, okay, this is what we offer? How many museums out of US do you see that? How many travel companies who might cater to disabled travelers in some way or the other? How many times they actually market that and say, we know? Okay, I'll rush again. And then you have to have a feedback loop, because the feedback loop is what keeps on going. This is not a one-time project that you just do and you're done with it. You have to keep on improving. Each and every new customer will teach you a new thing, and you have to make it a standard. Keep on going, keep on improving your standard product. Intersectionality. You cannot put people into buckets. Like, look at my father. 3 disabilities into one, along with aging. And there are people who have an intersectionality with LGBTQ plus as well. It is 30% intersectionality between LGBTQ plus and disabled people. So that is double the world average of disabled people. So that is a market that the tourism industry talks a lot about because it has a lot of money. But then again, 30% of them have accessibility needs. And collaboration between global partners. Like I said, we have to come together. All of you in this room have to come together, see what influence you have regionally, and how we can together become a force of nature to focus that, okay, let's together build a planet which is accessible and inclusive to travel for all. I mean, this is my life goal. In my lifetime, I want to mainstream accessibility for the travel industry and stop doing travel design services completely. I want every travel company to be doing it. I want every hotel to be accessible by design. I want every museum to be accessible by design, and have every disabled person having the freedom of choice to travel wherever they want, whenever they want, with whomsoever they want, at the 2 hours notice, not like a whole turmoil to figure out how do I travel. So if you are with me on this, I'm here, okay? Making destination accessible, I think I covered a lot part of it, but metrics identification is really important. If you are working onto it, you need to identify the metrics that you're going to monitor in your business and as an organization, because again, you need to see the output of the efforts you have put in, the money you have put in, and how it has worked for you. Do you need to change your strategy? Maybe you're doing something wrong. So as any tourism business working in accessible tourism, you need to have that metrics identification and monitoring, which I think is very, very important. Ideal version of inclusion in tourism. It has to be seamless, adaptive, and provide a qualitative experience which is intention-led and has real-time data points in terms of accessibility. You might have an information about a destination. This is accessible for, say, wheelchair users. This lift is here, or they have this indoor navigation app working. But when a traveler visits there, is it working at that point in time? So that real-time status is equally important. And equitable pricing. Traveling with a disability for any disabled traveler all over the world remains expensive. And that is not going to change until and unless there is more and more people working into accessible tourism. There is competition amongst these stakeholders, which leads to quality of service and economies of scale. and ultimately affordability. So that is, again, one more reason to work together to bring that movement and, make it mainstream. How can we help you? This is my last slide. I end with this, okay? So how Planetable can help? We can help you build your roadmap and policy, audit your business, help consult you on how you can design your products and services or make your destination accessible, design inclusive products, training, certification, implementation help as well, and market outreach and in-house capacity build development of accessibility expert. Because we don't want to be the consultant that you have to call again and again. We want you build your own accessibility leaders in-house in your organization so you never have to call us again. So, sorry. This is just another design thinking, how we implement it, like the framework that is agile and takes into consideration with empathy the needs of all types of travelers, ideate, prototype, and test, because there will always be accessibility needs that you're not prepared for. So this model works really well for that. This is an assessment tool. I can share it with you guys where you can evaluate how you are accessible for what all type of disability groups across the spectrum of your digital content and information, your online booking, physical infrastructure, training, and communication and feedback loop. So it's a good way to monitor where you are in an accessibility journey. Done. Some of the pictures just to make you happy at the end. These are all our travelers. Sometimes like a blind person, wheelchair user, someone, person with dementia, a mixed group from all over the world with various disabilities, family travel, heritage travel, people with intellectual disabilities. So I don't think there is any disability group that can be categorized, put into some category we have not catered to. So I'm really proud of that self to have had the opportunity and to have created these fun moments. The disabilities could be visible, invisible, like that's a blind couple, that's a person with amputation, that's a person with cognitive disabilities, deaf, Down syndrome. And here's a child with multiple disabilities as well. And okay. Thank you so much for your time and patience.
Okay. This last speaker is Dimitrios Buhalis. Professor Dimitrios Buhalis directs the International Center for Tourism and Hospitality Research at Bournemouth University. I don't know if I pronounce. Okay.
Both. You take any and out and we're fine.
Okay. He is a world-leading authority in smart tourism, technology, and accessibility in hospitality and travel. He is recognized for pioneering research on e-tourism and smart tourist destinations, exploring how digital transformation, AI, and data-driven strategy enhance competitiveness and customer experience. And your CV is with a lot of experience, so I prefer hear you because it's more important.
Thank you very much. What's very important is I've got 19 seconds and 19 seconds, it says there. So the program is supposed to finish at 6 o'clock. Those of you who need to leave at 6 o'clock, goodbye. The rest of you, you'll commit to stay here until 6:30, okay? How about that? Who is okay with that? Yay! We have support, eh? Okay, it's great to be with you. It's great to reconnect with the disability and accessibility tourism. I've been working on this area for 25 years. When Ivo recruited me to develop a range of different products and services, part of the OSATE project that happened about 20 years ago. Ever since I've been working in this area, and we're doing a whole range of different things. My main area is smart tourism. It's really how technology is changing tourism. And I'm doing that for almost 35 years. So I'm very glad with your examples, because I love your countries. I love Portugal, I love China, I love India, and I've done work in all the three countries. And in fact, you have covered so much stuff. So I'll try to go very quickly. First things first, if you need to contact me, that's where you find me. That is I cook from time to time. And this is the bookshop. So I write books so you can buy them. Okay, it's quite simple. I write the books, you buy them. And this is the encyclopedia of tourism management and marketing that we developed over the COVID period. And that has got 2 million pages, 2 million words, 3,500 pages, with a lot of different things, including many aspects of disability. The books that people know me for and relevant to here is the accessible tourism concept and issues and the best practice in accessible tourism. These are the only two books on this area. We've done it with Simon Darcy and with Ivor, the red one. Simon is tetraplegic. He's incredible. He's in the university in Sydney, and he's the world expert on accessibility because he lives the experience. So these are the two books. If you haven't got these books, please get them, because they are bringing a whole range of other things. I also want to invite you to Malta in November. We're doing the Mediterranean Tourism Knowledge and Exchange and Policy Forum, where we're bringing a whole range of different things. So many of you have already talked about these things, so I'm not going to stay with that. So Sustainable Development Goals and disability, accessibility, all of these things. But we've done a whole range of different projects about what is tourism doing to Sustainable Development Goals. So I'm giving you references, and I can send you this presentation afterwards, because it maps how tourism is actually impacting each sustainable development goal. This is generic tourism. It's not before, it's before looking to accessibility, disability. But this is really critical, because then it's a subsector of this that is covering sustainability, accessibility and disability. This is the pyramid, and the pyramid is the synthesis of the encyclopedia. Because a lot of people are talking about tourism, and a lot of people, I keep hearing people talking about tourism without really understanding what tourism is. And because a lot of people have been a traveler, they've been in different places, they believe that they know it all. There's very few things that they can raise my blood pressure, but the word over-tourism does it every time. People saying, we've got over-tourism in this place, on that place, on that place. And they don't really say that we cannot manage tourism properly, and we're creating a lot of problems for ourselves. So what that says is that the tourism system that came from, by someone called Neil Lippier years ago, and then I enhanced it, is that it's a system, it's an ecosystem that works from the place of origin, people, the tourism generating regions, so that they're going on the other side. We're on the top, on destination regions, you've got the intermediation technology, the bit in the middle. And then you've got all the whole different areas on the pyramid. And these areas determine how you do tourism and how you don't do tourism. Now, again, this is generic tourism, but when you're looking at accessible and disability and inclusion, there are bits in here that they're actually determining this. And you need to see that holistically. So I'm doing most of my work on smart tourism and how technology is changing the world. And normally when people hear about smartness and smart tourism, they think about technology. In fact, it's not about technology. Smart tourism is about networks. Smart tourism is about how can you put everything together to re-engineer all the products and services and to use interoperability, interconnectivity to bring all the resources together, because in tourism, we cannot be alone. So much so that in accessible tourism or disability or accessible tourism is much more than normal tourism, tourism for able-bodied people. Why? Because you need the interconnections to be smooth, and you need, if you have disruptions, a whole range of difficulties emerge. So if you're missing a connection, or your battery on your wheelchair does not arrive, or you change your room very frequently, you get disorientated and a whole range of other things are happening. So smartness is about networks. Networks that are enabled by technology. And once you have got technology-enabled networks, then you can do a whole range of very clever things. What does make a place smart is really linking everybody together and enhancing them with very clever technology at the back. So what we do is we put customer in the middle, we call it customer centricity, and you've got a whole range of different technologies around that we call ambient intelligence in tourism to actually satisfy the needs and the requirements of these customers. I'm going to disagree with Neha in a minute because you've got inclusion and make everything inclusive design does not mean that you need to put everybody together. In fact, all my life, I've been going the opposite direction. It's all about personalization, individualization, contextualization. So much more when you've got accessibility and disability issues. Why? Because even the same customer, when I'm traveling, I'm a very different customer when I'm a business traveler, when I'm a leisure traveler. I'm very different customer when I travel with my wife, when I travel with my mistress, when I travel with my mother, or when I'm traveling with my daughter. Very different. Okay, the same customer. Well, no, it's personalization, individualization, contextualization. You've got the design that facilitates all that, but then you personalize the thing on the spot. You'll see that in a minute. We can disagree for a long time. It'll be fun. Smartness is really about bringing networks, the end of things, the end of everything. Sensors collects information, beacons sends information away. I was upstairs on the technology guys and they were talking in Venice. I'm not sure if our colleague from Venice is here. How do they collect information with sensors, with drones to understand what's going on, how they manage? It's exactly that. It's how do you use big data in real time to co-create different experiences. I wish I had a lot of time to explain to you a lot of these things, but it's really about, it's not about technology. It's about people, leadership that is coming into the ecosystem, bring together economic actors, social actors, technological actors to co-create value by using a whole range of smart innovations. Again, this is generic for any type of tourism, but when you're looking to accessibility, disability, you've got a much more detail on that. Smart tourism is not about technology and management and environments like that. I'll tell you what is not smart tourism. I don't know if anybody has been to Pastificio de Filipis. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures. This a very nice restaurant in the center of Torino from 1872. It looks like this. And it's a wonderful place that we went for dinner on Saturday night. I'm not going to take a lot of time. If you like to know the story, please talk to me afterwards. But I didn't manage to get this dish of Meligiano served to me because the restaurant refused to serve it to us. It was sitting in the corner, 3 meters away from me. I offered 10 euros, 20 euros, 30 euros, 40 euros, 50 euros. I was told I was still not served this dish. It's very interesting. It will be my case study for a long time, how not to do it, right? So it's not about accessibility only, it's about attitude, it's about understanding, it's about customer service. If I had the time, I'll tell you the Buhalis test for excellence in hospitality and tourism. So Vision 2030 is how can we bring all of these things to have an anthropocentric and value-focused industry that is empathy and community engaged to provide the right service to the right customer at the right time through agility. It will take me a little bit more to explain that, but in the context of accessibility, disability, it's all about, I've got a blind person, hey, predicted. It's really about understanding the market requirements. It's really about providing the richness of information, the reliability of the information, the objectivity of the information through measurements, not grades, not classifications, the accuracy of the information, and the inclusion of the information. Those simple things are incredibly difficult, and I'm super frustrated because for the last 25 years, we've been discussing about this, and actually the progress in the marketplace is very, very little. And you keep thinking, why? And yes, we keep talking to everybody that there is a value there, but they don't see actually the value. So we need to do a better job, and we need to bring more people here. And also, we'd like to keep people here after the politicians have gone and after they've taken the pictures. Because it's most of the activity that I see is that people turn up because it's nice to talk about these things, take the pictures, write on the newspapers, and then go home or go and do other important things, right? So what's also very interesting is that everything's accessible. So we need to turn that around. As a hotel manager, as someone who has worked in tourism all my life, I know that everything's accessible for different market segments. So a lot of accessibility organizations, they're trying to do what you do. Let's go to the inclusive design all the way to the end. And unless that, we are not satisfied. This is never going to happen. It's not going to happen because, okay, if it's a new facility like here or next door, of course, the design, of course, there's no excuse not to have a situation like that. But if there's a hotel or an attraction or especially cultural heritage places, they're really difficult to do modifications. So it's really about how can you have realistic adaptations to make sure that we expand this to as much as possible. So we really need to understand different types of disability. Yes, we need to try to be as inclusive as possible, but we also need to understand what can we tailor-made to different things. And yes, absolutely, when you have got a combination of disabilities, then it's become much more complex. But I think what's going to happen is that if we wait to satisfy the entire pyramid, this is for those of you who have been following us through OSATE, they'll know we had a lot of fun with this graph. We call it the whale. If we wait until everything's satisfied, we'll wait for a long time. So the approach is to make that in a much more strategic, smart way through personalization, contextualization. Smartness is bringing the physical layer and the architecture. You've got the data layer, where it's all the information. You've got the technical layer, the interoperability and the connectivity. You've got the business layer, where it's does it make sense for me to do so? And then you've got the experience layer. What is the experience I'm trying to create? And this is going to be in the exams. This is what I'm saying to my students, right? So this is something that we designed 20 years ago. It is the OSATE platform. And as I was going through my notes to prepare this, I thought, oh my God, this is still so valid. Because it's based on the tourism system for accessibility. And what it says is that you've got a layer of accessibility that's providing the right information to the right person. What am I really want to know? If I'm blind, I've got some particular needs that they're very different than if I'm a wheelchair user. And then it connects the entire system. It's very, very complex. What makes me very excited right now is two things, AI and metaverse. Because AI will have all the ability of the world to go out and find all this information and bring it back and personalize products and services to my needs and requirements. And the metaverse will make me able eventually to go into the digital twin and experience things before I experience physically. And that means that I will be able to try things and see if they are for me or not. Long conversation is going to keep me for a long time, busy. A lot of technical challenges. I'm going to go very quickly. And the other thing is that customers, when they travel, they have a physical presence in the place they are, but also they've got a digital presence simultaneously. So what's very interesting is that this consumer is not only participating on things physically at the destination, but also they've got access now to a network of friends, relatives, associations, service providers, a whole range of other things that we didn't have 10 years ago. So now you can press a button and speak to someone and say, I'm here, where do I go next? I'm calling friends sometimes. If I go in a restaurant, I don't know the local cuisine, I'm calling a Galician friend and say, hola, speak the waiter, order for me, because you know the information better than I do. And I think that is also a huge opportunity, especially for accessibility, because you've got a whole range of different networks. That if you have location-based services, context-based services, and if you've got call a friend, ask the audience kind of thing, you can have fantastic information in real time. So it's everything is about now, it's everything is about real time. We call it the nowness. And nowness is actually looking into real time triggers, what's happening on the world, and understands what is the service and the requirement, and then brings down personalization, contextualization. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with these things, but it's really about how the ambient intelligence enables the connectivity of everybody and enables different technological developments, the artificial intelligence, machine learning, the ambient connectivity, and the metaverse to actually co-create best experiences for everybody. I'm not going to go through all the rest of it because I think I'm going to run out of time. And I think I'm going to stop here and we can take some questions if there are. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dimitrios. I just want to ask the audience if you have any question to our speakers, if you can do it. If you don't have any question, I will make just one question for all to respect the time of the audience. The theme of the Congress is a new global agenda for accessible tourism. Based on your experience, what should not be missing from this new agenda? We'll start with José Antonio.
I think we should cooperate, all of us, and also with our governments to put societies more accessible. For example, in Portugal, since 2006, we have a public law. Each new building, new road, new sidewalk, restaurants, monuments, whatever that you build, you must do it accessible. And if you do an improvement in anything, you must do it accessible. So every day in Portugal, streets, monuments, restaurants, everything is more accessible. And that's the way, I think.
Okay, thank you. That's a nice thing. Persons with disabilities should not be missing because nothing does us without us. And our partners should think of engaging the disability community in making the new agenda and empowering them to have more active roles in different actions. Yes, and this also generates new opportunities to the disadvantaged community. Yeah, that's my answer.
I think what should not be missing from this new agenda is to have a holistic approach on what accessible tourism is. I will reiterate, we cannot choose one disability and leave out the others. Like keeping accessibility across the spectrum, not just built environment, but having the digital information and communication and human aspect of accessibility also at its core, and making sure we are able to cover as much ground across the accessibility needs as possible, but still being open and agile to add more and more lived experiences. Like I said, it's based on design thinking. You keep on evolving, right? And you need to have a roadmap. Of course, you cannot do everything in one go. It's about a new, like you said, a new building, you can do it in one go. But you need to have a phase out plan that how are you going to implement it? And it should end with that if you implement this global agenda, it's not only the disabled travelers experience that would be enriched and be inclusive, but the experience of all the travelers would be wonderful as well. Because when we design for accessibility, we
Someone had prepared for that. I was disabled here because there's no any place to plug my computer and keep it running. That is accessibility issue. There's a lot of issues that we need to look, but from the customer point of view, and we need to adapt locations and we need to adapt facilities. So it's nothing for me without me, and we need to give the voice to people who are having the living experience. That's the research coming from the SARP from the SARP end. When you're taking people around, you recognize that every day. We're very good at making noise, writing books and creating policy documents, but we need to bring the people in the center of all that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and see you all tomorrow in the same place.